on that floor that's nice and warm during the winter, and I really like that. It was very comfortable.
Je trouve qu'elle est agréable, le sol est jaune, c'est assez gai, la chambre est assez gaie, il y a du bois, du jaune, du blanc, on se sent bien.
Sie finden keinen Neubau mehr, der hochwertig ist, wo keine Fußbodenheizung drin ist.
Ondol is a heating system that uses a humble furnace to warm the entire house. Considered one of the 3 great inventions of Korea, along with hangul and movable metal types, the Ondol system has grabbed the world's attention. And hence begins the story of this scientific heating system and an embodiment of clean, green energy. Berlin, in northeastern Germany, is the capital city that also bears the tragic history of being divided by a concrete wall. After the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1990, one of the buildings became the symbol of the German reunification, together with the Brandenburg Gate. It's the Reichstag, originally constructed to house the imperial diet of the German Empire. It had to endure arson attacks, bombings, reconstructions, and neglect. Then the German government decided to extensively repair the neglected Reichstag building and reopened it in 1997. Despite its classic facade, the building boasts cutting-edge architectural technologies and is praised as a symbol of German democracy, a democracy characterized by openness and participation. The glass dome carries natural light into the main hall, allowing visitors to closely observe its every detail. Regardless of the weather outside, inside the air is warm and pleasant. The secret to this lies beneath the floor. When remodeling the Reichstag building, the government decided to go with an underfloor heating system that circulates hot water. In other words, the entire floor of the building uses a heating system that is very similar to Korea's Ondol.
Sind diese Wärmespeichermechanismen. Also unter dem Reichstag, 300 Meter in der Erde, ist ein großer Wärmespeicher für Wasser, wo im Sommer dann Wasser runtergepumpt wird in die Erde, das dann im Winter wieder für die Heizung gebraucht werden kann. Fußbodenheizungen sind natürlich sehr angenehm zum Wohnen. Man kann zum Beispiel barfuß auf dem Boden laufen im Winter, es wird nicht kalt, der Boden ist immer schön warm. Und dadurch, dass die Wärme über die Fläche verteilt wird am Boden, entsteht natürlich eine schön verteilte Wärme im Gebäude ohne viel Luftzüge und Luftbewegungen. Im Allgemeinen ein richtig angenehmes Klima.
Recently, the German housing market has witnessed a sudden spike in the number of people choosing underfloor heating for their houses. The German Association of Surface Heating and Cooling, or BVF, is located in Dortmund. We paid a visit to better understand the current situation of Germany's underfloor heating market. The association's membership consists of 50 companies that manufacture or install heating and cooling systems.
Schönen guten Tag, Herr Grimm. Guten Tag, Herr Grimm. Willkommen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Zusage und dann für Ihre Unterstützung.
Axel Grimm is the managing director of BVF. He explains that underfloor heating started gaining popularity some 30 years ago, and it now represents the mainstream trend in the housing market.
Also ist es über die Jahre immer weiter angestiegen. Wir sind jetzt im Neubaubereich. Bei den Gebäuden, die neu gebaut werden, liegen bei ca. 70% insgesamt bei allen Wohneinheiten. Dort, wo Eigentümer einziehen oder wo es höherwertiger Wohnraum ist, liegen wir bei fast 100%, weil heute eben die Behaglichkeit beim Wohnen, der Luxus beim Wohnen, das Wohlfühlen einfach mit einer Fußbodenheizung oder einer Deckenheizung einhergesetzt wird.
Back in Korea, at the foot of Baekunsan Mountain in Gwangyang, Jeollanam-do Province, is a farm and a thatched roof house. They belong to Hong Sang-ri, who has been farming plums here for 5 decades. In this traditional house is a fully functional Ondol room in its original state. A rainy day like this reveals its true merits. With the rain forcing her to suspend her work, Ms. Hong starts a fire in the fireplace, known as agongi. It's to heat up the rooms. Because she normally builds a fire to cook, today's fire has a different function.
비가 오면은 습이 낮아지니까 불이 쭉쭉 잘 안 들어가요.
연기가 밑으로 쫙 빨려.
온기가 이제 자꾸 수온이 낮아지니까.
The heat is for adjusting the humidity level of the rooms, which have become damp from the rain.
대기 따실 때도요. 이틀에 한 번씩 불을 지펴주는 게 좋아요. 장마 지면 꿉꿉 안 합니까? 불 한 번씩만 탁 되면 꼬실꼬실하다. 그게 선풍기고 에어컨이가 아무리 돌려봐도 이게 불 한 번씩 넣는 구간이 못하더라 이 말입니다.
The floor has been warmed nicely by the fire. For Koreans, taking a short nap on a warm floor is the best way to take a break. The scientific structure of Ondol keeps the warm, pleasant air circulating inside the room. To build hanok, its chimney and the fireplace are first set on the foundation. The stone slabs are laid, columns and walls are erected to create rooms, and then the roof is placed at the top. When the fireplace is lit, the heat of the fire passes through the space beneath the floor, warming up the gudaljang stones.
따뜻한 온돌 방에 불 한 번씩 지피가 따뜻하게 해가지고 매실 차를 따끈따끈하게 해가 한 잔 딱 마시고 코에서 땀이 깐깐하게 나도록 입을 딱 둘러서 자고 딱 일어나 봐라. 약을 먹고 요렇게 깨우나면 얼마나 좋겠노? 어? 요렇게만 깨우나면 정신이 말짱해요, 정말. 그렇게 막 온천지가 막 쑤시고 아프다가도 참 온돌방 열어서 우리 옛날 조상님들이 참 보양 먹는 것보다 더 좋다는 말이 이래두고 하는 것 같다.
This is a Hanok village in Seoul, where traditional tile-roofed houses stand in a huddle. Most of them are used as offices or galleries, capitalizing on the elegant ambiance of Korean traditional houses. In the village is a historical museum that offers a detailed view of Hanok houses. It illustrates the structure and architectural style of Hanok, as well as the basics of the Ondol system, the core of traditional houses. Ondol is also known as gudul, a pure Korean word that some say originally meant baked stone, while others say came from the word gul, referring to the flue through which the heat passes through. The three critical elements of Ondol are guduljang, which are wide and flat stone slabs, gwomdol, that fixes the stones into the foundation, and gore, the flue below where the heat passes through. Erect the gwomdol on the foundation, place the guduljang on top, plaster mud on it, place linoleum at the very top, and that completes the Ondol system.
그 방열면의 재료가 구들장이라고 하는 돌을 사용을 합니다. 근데 돌을 데피면 거기서 원적외선이 나오게 되는데, 원적외선은 그 열선이 깊숙이 침투하는 물체에 그런 효과가 있습니다. 그래서 구들장을 사용을 하면 사람 몸속 깊숙이 덮여진다는 뜻이고, 그게 이제 친환 효과가 오래 가기 때문에 밖에서 이제 장기간 야외 활동을 해도 그 난방 효과가 남아 있다고 하는 것이 큰 장점이 되겠습니다.
This is a farming village in Jeongeuk, Jeollabuk-do Province. It's also a folk village that was created in order to pass down Korea's unique Ondol traditions. To fully experience this community, which sits on the flat plains of the southwestern region of the peninsula, you have to visit it in snowy weather. It's because the true merits of Hanok and its Ondol rooms are revealed by the frosty wind and the below-zero temperature outside. As the fire in the furnace heats the guduljang, people lie down on the floor and thaw their bodies. The Ondol tradition, unique to the Korean peninsula, is what has sustained the lives of the Korean people. Korea is the only country in the world whose entire population lead lives on Ondol. Ancient ruins prove that Ondol existed on the Korean peninsula 5,000 years ago. For millennia, the Korean people have been redesigning and developing the system. Because the fireplace is separated from the living quarters, the smoke does not invade the rooms. Furthermore, natural convection is created due to the temperature difference between the floor and the ceiling. This is how an Ondol room stays warm and pleasant.
불 때는 그 불 그림도 예쁘고.
네.
그 불 나중에 다 떼고 나면 잔불에다 구워 먹는 고구마도 그 너무 맛있죠. 이상하게 여기서 자고 나면 몸이 가뿐한 거는 왜 같이 따뜻해도 그 불을 떼는 온돌과 다른지 그게 좀 연구해 볼 일이에요.
Ason Grebst, a Swedish journalist who visited Korea around a century ago, recorded that Korean people get baked on overheated floors, like bread in an oven. A foreigner back then would have found the Ondol system, which heats the entire room starting from the floor, both novel and fascinating. Having survived the Bronze Age and thousands of years thereafter, Ondol is a blessing that helped the Korean people endure bitter winters. The history of Ondol is, in essence, the history of houses. It was from the middle of the Goryeo period that Ondol was laid across the entire room, while the fireplace was installed outside. It was from then that the main room of the house, the fireplace, and the cooktop counter above the fireplace were considered parts of a complete system. Due to the health benefits of Ondol, as well as its eco-friendliness, many people still build their houses the traditional way. The gaps between the stone slabs are filled with mud, and red clay is plastered over the slabs to prevent any smoke from escaping. The essence of the technology is to ensure that the smoke effectively moves along the flue and exits through the chimney.
이제 이게 수평을 잘 맞춰야 돼요. 첫째는 연기라는 것은 꼭 짚은 대로 따라가게 되어 있어요. 여기도 수평이 안 잡히면은 여기가 좀 짚으면 그거가 먼저 들어가요. 연기가. 그래서 이 옹골에도 파는 이유가 그 연기가 오면은 우리 파 빨아 내려갑니다. 내려가고 착 깔려갖고 저리 나가요.
The technology behind the Ondol system is highly sophisticated. The flue between the two ridges are of different depths, a design that keeps the heat below the stone slabs for a long period of time. Meanwhile, a pit called gejari sucks in the smoke.
서양은 이제 불을 떼서 불은 이렇게 쓰거든요. 이게 쓴 불을 사용해서 옆을 쬐는 거고 우리는 불을 이렇게 눕혀서 사용하는 그 누운 불을 사용하는 형식입니다. 그래서 선불을 사용을 하면 불의 옆부분을 사용을 하게 되고 누운 불을 사용하면 불의 윗부분을 사용하게 되는데 불의 옆이 뜨겁겠어요? 불의 위가 뜨겁겠어요? 그러니까 우리 민족은 작은 그 연료로 에너지를 온전히 다 사용하는 아주 그런 과학적인 난방 방법을 가지고 있는 거죠.
This is the Ecological Environment and Architecture Research Institute in Jincheon, Chungcheongbuk-do Province. It studies the structure and operating principles of traditional Ondol, as well as its scientific values. Kim Jun-bong, the director of the institute, is an architect who studied Western and Korean traditional architecture and a professor who currently teaches at universities in Beijing and Jeonju.
이게 전통 구들의 원형인데 불을 일단 떼면 아궁이에서 불을 떼서 불을 보관하고 저장을 이제 이 고래에서 하다가 식은 연기를 바깥으로 구새와 굴뚝을 통해서 나가게 합니다.
When a fire is made, the heat and the smoke get sucked into the fireplace and fill up the flue below the stone slabs. This flue has seen much improvement over the years. The key to research on Ondol rooms is controlling the flow of heat and its speed by adjusting the depth of the flue and the pit. The Institute regularly offers apprenticeship-based lectures to students who major in traditional architecture or to Hanok architects.
그림을 그린 거지. 그래서 이 한족 민가는 구들이 일부분만 돼 있고 나머지는 복도나 요 집이 바로 그 중국 한족의 칸 이렇게 침대처럼 생겨서 걸터 앉는 형태로 돼 있죠. 그러니까 우리는 이렇게 통구들 전체 구들이고 이렇게 한족들은 쪽구들.
Korea's traditional ondol is different from the underfloor heating systems of neighboring countries such as China and Russia in that it heats up the entire room. The Chinese and Russians also have underfloor heating systems, but these take up only a portion of the room.
그러면 우리나라랑 중국 말고도 다른 나라에도 온돌이 있나요?
실제 온돌을 연구해 보면 물론 중국의 북방이나 멀리 로마 부근, 독일, 영국에 이르기까지 온돌이 널리 분포하고 있습니다.
Traces of various types of underfloor heating systems have been found across the globe. Ancient remains were uncovered in regions ranging from the Amaknak Island in Alaska and the Scandinavian peninsula to Germany and Italy, all with just minor differences in form. More foreigners are also falling in love with the eco-friendly and scientific ondol. One of them is Professor Daniel Strickland at Daegu Gyeongbuk Institute of Science and Technology. He came to Korea some 40 years ago as a member of the Peace Corps and worked as a tuberculosis control officer when he met his current wife. Soon after, he fell in love with the ondol tradition.
My first experience with Ondol was when I came here in 1971. I went to a hasukjip, had a little room, maybe the size of this area right here, probably smaller. It's cold, but there's the nice floor, and you sit on the floor, and the little room gets heated, and you sleep on that floor that's nice and warm during the winter, and I really liked that. It was very comfortable. I was happy.
Having returned to Korea after his retirement in the U.S., he enjoys chatting with his wife about the Korean culture while sitting comfortably on the ondol floor.
Of saying, how old are you? How many years have you eaten tteokguk? 전 2살 먹었어요. And just this thing is for the
one is the 바닥, ondol.
No, this is the ondol. Here's the timer. Here's some fan. Is how much is the
His
fan
home
is
carries
going,
two heating systems, the air circulating type and the ondol type.
22 right now, which is about.
He always chooses the latter.
Turn on the.
우선 바닥이 따뜻하면은 안정이 되고 이 활동하기가 편하고 또 하나는 온도도 깨끗하잖아요. 우리 언제나 따뜻하고 깨끗하면은 모든 게 수월해요. 그런데 바닥이 더럽고 차가우면은 자꾸만 움츠러들고 의자에만 올라앉아 있는 것 같아요.
Although a Western-type radiator has been installed on the ceiling of his bedroom, it's used only briefly during the summer.
Way that forced air heating is set up, it runs from a fire through a fan and around all the vents in the house and the conduits, and those all collect dust and bugs and allergens and so forth. and that blows throughout the house, and you heat the whole house with this one fire. It makes for a dry environment. People get itchy, and it also makes for a dusty environment. Whereas this, you just get the heat rising from the floor, and it warms up the room radiantly, and you don't have that air blowing around drying you out. Of course, any place is going to be dry in the winter, but I think this is better for the health. That you don't get the winter colds, you don't get the dust.
This is Bergisch Gladbach, a city located near Dortmund, Germany. In this old house that was built about 150 years ago, the fireplace is the main component of its heating system. When it was remodeled around a decade ago, all the walls were torn down and a high-performance fireplace was installed. Still, the residents have to wear thick clothes inside. This is another house in the same village, built some 30 years ago. It comes with an air-circulating radiator for heating and cooling purposes. Designed to inject warm air, this device is not effective when it comes to heating the entire room evenly. Although the regulator reads 21 degrees Celsius, the actual indoor temperature is a mere 5 degrees Celsius.
따뜻해진 공기가 위로 올라가기 때문에 위에서부터 점점 따뜻해지고 우리가 생활하는 공간까지 따뜻해지기까지는 시간이 걸리게 됩니다. 뿐 아니라 이 따뜻해진 공기는 습기를 많이 머금을 수 있기 때문에 공기 중에 습도가 우리가 생활하는 그 높이에서의 습도는 아주 낮아질 수밖에 없는 게 현실입니다.
For Korean people, stones are very useful tools for overcoming the freezing winter. Heated pebbles can serve as pocket heaters, while wide stone slabs are sometimes used as cooking utensils. In this village in Gapyeong, Gyeonggi-do Province, the neighbors have gathered around a large stone slab over a fire to warm up. There's something special about the stone slab that is acting like a grill. It's none other than a gudoljang. They are cooking meat on a heated gudoljang.
이게 실제 구들을 위해서 나온 거예요? 돌멩이가?
네, 이거 구들, 네. 이거 밑에는 검었잖아요,
이게 돌멩이가 어디서 나와요?
구들이 이거 너네 집 원래 떼던 그거잖아.
이 집이에요, 이거. 산에 가면 이게 구들 나는 돌이 따로 있어요. 이 갈피가 이렇게 일어나지 않는 돌은 안 돼.
This warm stone, part of Ondol, helped Korean people keep warm even outdoors in the freezing weather. A long time ago, cavemen would sleep on a straw mat that was placed over a stone slab where a fire had just gone out. The attempt to use the heat from warmed stones continued. Soon, people were lighting fires inside dugout huts and placing stones next to them. Then some began the practice of making a fire under a large stone slab and sleeping on top of it. Further advances led to the development of the Ondol system, in which one fire is used to both cook and heat the house. Past traces of Ondol can be found on murals inside Anak Tomb No. 3 of the Goguryeo dynasty, and on the northern wall of Sangyeongcheong Tomb, and at the historical site on Achesan Mountain. This is Dumulmori in Yangpyeong, Gyeonggi-do Province. At this place where Namhangang and Bukhangang rivers merge, we find a more recent Ondol system from the Joseon dynasty. Inside this greenhouse, named Sangchunwan, are plants that stay healthy and strong despite the frosty temperature of minus 20 degrees Celsius outside. But what makes this greenhouse so famous is this low, shabby building. It's an exact replica of a traditional greenhouse built some 580 years ago in the early Joseon dynasty. This came 170 years before the greenhouse in Heidelberg, Germany, which is known as Europe's first heated greenhouse. The greenhouse was built to cultivate various crops and vegetables even during the winter. Its special feature is the Ondol system. Engineered to maintain appropriate temperature and humidity levels and collect sunlight that's crucial for photosynthesis, the technology can easily pass as something used in today's world.
바닥으로 구두를 설치해서 불이 지나가니까 이 땅의 온도가 충분히 유지돼서 생장을 할 수 있고 습도가 유지돼야 되는데 습도는 이제 그 아궁이에서 불을 지피면 가마솥에서 수증기가 발생하면 저 용머리 형태로 돼 있는 저기서 수증기가 나와서 이 온실 내 습도를 유지하고.
The Ondol on the floor controls the temperature in the greenhouse, while the humidity is controlled by injecting steam from the cauldron. Large windows made with hanji are installed on the ceiling to let in sunlight. At night, straw is placed on the roof to lock in heat and moisture. Thanks to this greenhouse, people at the time were able to eat fresh vegetables in the middle of winter. It's amazing how ahead of its time this structure was.
온돌은 그 자연형, 수동형 건축을 하기 때문에 이게 근대화라든지 원시인들이 나가서 싸우고 개척하는 데는 적합하지 않은 거죠. 그래서 입식 생활을 하고 투쟁을 하고 빠른 움직임을 하기 위해서는 발을 많이 써야 되고 그리고 그 공기를 따뜻하게 해서 활동적으로 바뀌어야 되는데 바로 온돌은 그거에 적합하지 않기 때문에 다른 지역에서는 다 사라지고 말았고 우리나라는 이렇게 정복하기보다는 서로 상생하고 패시브한 삶을 추구했기 때문에 온도를 유지했다.
Sitting halfway along the southern coast of Korea is Yeongnam-gun, Jeollanam-do province, which consists of vast plains for farming. Flocks of migrating birds fly over Mojung village, a typical Korean farming village. Surrounded by large fields on all four sides are a group of hanok that snugly sit together on a low hill. One of them is Arirang House, located at the heart of the village. Consisting of 3 rooms and 2 main halls, the house is owned by a couple who were both born and raised in the village and who enjoy the traditional way of life. They are making 5-colored taepyeongso and cookies for some elementary school students who will be paying them a visit.
온돌방에서 살면 몸이 건강이 좋아요. 마음도 따뜻해지고 이제 마음이 따뜻해지니까 열어지고 약간 좀 힘들었던 것도 이렇게 노곤하게 풀어지고.
Life in a hanok house is a slow, sedentary one. The visitors sit around a table, enjoying the refreshments that their host has prepared. Ondol naturally encouraged the custom of sitting on the floor, and the difference in heating systems led to the difference between the cultures of the East and the West.
정말 따뜻하네요. 어릴 적 생각이 나요. 어릴 적에 우리 구들막이 앉아가지고
공기는 시원하고 바다가 따뜻하고 그리고 바깥에 이렇게 풍경소리 들으면서 이렇게 자연도 함께 산속에서 이렇게 느낄 수 있는 한옥의 정취는 정말 아무리 좋은 호텔을 가더라도 이런 정취를 느낄 수가 없죠.
그런 묘미를 느끼려면 다리 주물러 가야지.
오늘 진짜 잘 온 것 같네.
The Ondol room and the lifestyle it shaped are an inseparable part of the traditional Korean culture.
한옥집은 너무 편안하고요, 따뜻하고 또 어릴 때도 그런 온돌방에서 살아왔기 때문에 거기에 적응이 돼 있는 것 같고 진짜 마음이 편안해요, 힐링돼요.
Located 50 kilometers south of Busan, sitting on the southeastern tip of the Korean peninsula, is Tsushima Island. It's the closest Japanese island to Korea. The West uses convection heating that injects warm air. What kind of heating does Japan, a neighboring Asian country, use? The Japanese have had tatami rooms for generations. A tatami is a traditional straw mat used in Japanese homes, tightly woven to the thickness of about 5 centimeters and bound up along the edges. It's usually rectangular in shape. While Japan generally has a warmer climate compared to Korea, its winters are cold and humid. Alas, tatami mats do not transfer heat or warm the floor as Korean Ondol does. So Japanese people wear thick clothes at home or use various heating devices to fight off the cold.
私はもう寒いからね、まあこれでは寝らんけどね、シャツなんか着るけど、電気毛布着て寝らんとかでできらんし、韓国はみんな床暖房になってると思いますけど、対馬のこんな和風の家は床暖房の家はほとんどないと思います。だけど今いうストーブとこたつとカーペットで温めて過ごしています。
One example is the kotatsu, which consists of a table with a heater installed under it and a thick blanket over it. Unlike ondol, which warms up the entire room, kotatsu is only helpful to those who are snuggled under it. Interestingly, Japan's cold houses actually introduced Korea's ondol to the West. An American architect came to Japan in the early 20th century to design the Imperial Hotel. Seeing that he was having a difficult time adjusting to the cold tatami room, a Japanese had him stay at a hanok named Jasondang instead. Jasondang was originally the East Palace of Gyeongbokgung that used to be occupied by the Crown Prince and Princess. It was moved to Tokyo by a Japanese businessman. The American architect was none other than Frank Lloyd Wright, one of the greatest architects of all time. He disassembled a Western radiator and built it into the floor, a system that he applied to some 30 buildings, and this marked the birth of the hot water circulating underfloor heating system that is widely in use today. Although geographically close to each other, Korea and Japan have different heating traditions. Whereas Japan uses tatami mats to drive away the humidity, Korea chooses to warm the floor with ondol to dispel the cold. It's interesting how two neighboring countries use such different methods. This is Hitakatsu Port, the gateway to the south of Tsushima Island. It was the passage through which Korea and Japan interacted in the past, and it's still bustling with Korean tourists today. Tsushima Island is more receptive to Korean traditional ondol than other parts of Japan are. More buildings on the island are offering ondol heating. Here at the duty-free shop and dormitory building of Hitakatsu Port, ondol installation work is in full swing. The ondol heating system was chosen as a way to better store duty-free goods on the humid island, as well as for the health of the employees. These heating panels apply the working principles of the traditional ondol system. It's a type of a compressed panel that consists of a radiation plate and insulating materials, and sandwiched in the middle are hot water pipes.
昔の日本の対馬というところも結構韓国からの協力が多かったので、いわゆる昔の韓国のオンドルシステムと同じシステムだったんですよ。やっぱりこう使っていただいた方は結構やっぱりオンドルの方は暖かいし乾燥もせんしいいですねっていう声が広がっていますよね。
This is a guest house located near Hitakatsu Port. Run by a Korean, it was the first building on the island to install the ondol heating system. The floor is so warm that the guests can walk around barefoot. The guest house has successfully launched the Ondol system on an island where most accommodations offer tatami rooms.
겨울에 특히 여행할 때 이제 보통 방에 들어가면 싸하게 춥거든요. 일본 목조 주택들은. 근데 이제 여기는 손님 들어오기 직전에 제가 이제 난방을 보통 오후 4시부터 켜두면 이게 공기가 훈훈하게 돼서 사람들이 이제 편안함을 뭐 따뜻함도 따뜻하지만 이 분위기가 아 따뜻하고 편안하구나라는 이미지를 갖게 되는 것 같아요. 그게 큰 것 같습니다.
An increasing number of ordinary homeowners are also installing the Ondol heating system. This is another lodging located about 20 kilometers northwest of Hitakatsu Port. The owner wants to transform half of the rooms into Ondol rooms. He cannot afford to ignore the guests' complaints that tatami rooms are too cold in winter. As luck would have it, a Korean architectural firm is in the area to support the installation work at the duty-free shop of Hitakatsu Port.
50이 50도라는 얘기예요?
물의 온도에.
아.
この上にこれ微体だからこの上にこういうのでもいいわけですよ。
そうそう。
カーペットでも。
そうそう。あそこは우리도ゲストハウスはこの上にこの
薄いカーペット。
薄いカーペットじゃなくてあそこはフローリング。薄いフローリングで全部。
あっちの部屋のフローリング。
To accommodate more guests in winter, the heating system needs to be replaced with the Ondol system that utilizes hot water. The issue, of course, is the cost.
다다미가 돼 있는데 겨울철에 그 위에다가 바로 올릴 생각이 있으신 것 같아요 보니까.
After seeing the benefits of the hot water Ondol panels for himself, he decides to introduce the new heating system in half of the tatami rooms.
온돌 문화가 없는 사람들한테 온돌을 접해보지 않는 사람들한테 온돌을 소개할 수는 있지만 체험할 수는 없잖아요. 그래서 저희가 이제 DIY 소비자들이 조립해서 쓸 수 있는 잠자리 공간만 쓸 수 있는 상품을 개발을 해서 그 상품을 추가적으로 가지고 왔고요. 이 상품을 직접 현지인들한테 난방을 틀어서 이게 온돌 난방이다.
The sunset has turned the waters of the West Sea gold. As the sun sets, a train speeds along the coast. It's Sohei Golden G train, which travels between Seoul and Gunsan once a day. There's something different about its cabins, though. The passengers are sitting on the floor with their shoes off.
잠시 후 열차는 서해 5번째 부석인 대천역에 도착합니다.
This is an Ondol cabin in Sohei Golden G train. It has 8 separate compartments, and they all come with an Ondol floor. The large windows let in the wintry sunlight. The temperature of the floor can be adjusted to the passenger's liking, within the range of 10 to 40 degrees Celsius. Each compartment is furnished with a small table and a TV, making the passengers feel as if they were in a hanok room. The Ondol cabin allows them to enjoy a cozy trip while sitting comfortably on the warm floor. Ondol is adapting to the changing times. Traveling in this Ondol compartment today is Mr. Oh Jung-soo and his wife from Cheongyang, Chungcheongnam-do Province. They are on their way to Janghang and Gunsan in celebration of their 35th wedding anniversary. The couple's quiet yet steadfast love, warmed by the passing time, bears a close resemblance to the warmth of Ondol.
온돌방 하면은 한 군데 고정되어 있는 거로만 생각을 하는데 이렇게 달리는 기차 안에서 온돌방에 탁 앉아가지고 설경을 보면서 어떻게 보면 영화의 한 장면 같은
장안역에 도착합니다. 내리실문 왼쪽입니다. 장안역에서 내리시는 고객님 안녕히 가십시오.
Hwaeomsa Temple in Goryeo, Jeollanam-do Province. The cloudy weather makes it all the more tranquil. and it's about to welcome some very special visitors. Tourists from France and Switzerland have applied for the Temple Stay program. They are excited when they find out that they will be staying in Ondol rooms. The temple has Ondol rooms of various sizes, from double rooms to larger rooms for groups. Regardless of the size, they are all simple and neat. The rooms had been heated before the visitors' arrival. What will they experience at the temple tonight? After an evening Buddhist service and mealtime, the visitors gather in the group room. The temple personnel had suggested that they make their own wish bracelets while enjoying some refreshments. Soon, the visitors find themselves threading the beads diligently while sitting cross-legged on the floor. Unfortunately, many people find this posture quite awkward and uncomfortable. Hwaomsa is an ancient temple that was built during the unified Shilla dynasty. It sits on the southern side of Jirisan Mountain. It starts to rain. Thick raindrops pelt down on stone lanterns in Gakwangjan Hall. It's quite noisy under the eaves just outside the visitors' rooms. Although it's summer, what's it like inside on a rainy day in the mountain? The ambiance is still as amicable as ever. The warmth that spreads from the floor makes them relax and brings a smile to their faces.
Donc, ça fait combien de temps que tu n'étais pas couché par terre?
50 ans.
Comment tu trouves ce système?
Ah, très bien, la nuit. Si j'ai pas eu mal au dos, ça aurait été très bien.
Some are actually accustomed to this Ondol culture.
Je veux quand même vous dire qu'en France ou en Suisse, le chauffage au sol, ça existe depuis très longtemps. Depuis des décennies. Oui, oui, moi j'ai même ma maison, j'habitais en France à une période, tout mon chalet était chauffé au sol.
It's a strange sight to see foreigners sitting or lying on the floor. It's also a glimpse of a more globalized Ondol that awaits us in the future.
Par le sol, alors que là, c'est... Là, on est bien.
The visitors lie down to sleep, not on a bed, but on the floor. It's still raining outside, and the night deepens.
Je trouve qu'elle est agréable, le sol est jaune, c'est assez gai, la chambre est assez gaie, il y a du bois, du jaune, du blanc, on se sent bien. Je connais pas très bien, donc je suis content de voir que ça a l'air d'être quelque chose de très, très répandu en Corée. Alors qu'en France, c'est plutôt des convecteurs qui sont sur les murs, voilà, donc voilà, je suis étonné de la différence entre la France et la Corée.
The new Ondol heating system is being applied in diverse ways in various parts of Europe. This is Hans' house in Finnentrop in Midwest Germany. When it was remodeled a couple of years ago, its heating system was also changed. It consists of an Ondol-type underfloor heating system, as well as heating and cooling systems that are installed on the walls and the ceilings to take care of air conditioning in the summer. The hotel calls the whole system surface heating and cooling system. The use of underfloor heating eliminates the need to install a radiator next to the wall, which in turn means that the windows can be installed low.
Es nehmen die Ströme alle zum leuchtenden Meere. Aber schön ist auf jeden Fall, hier kein Black System unterm Fenster zu sehen. Auch nicht. Kein bisschen, ne?
In short, additional space becomes available. The HVAC room is located in the basement. There are separate rooms for heating and cooling.
Hier wird die gesamte Energie für die Heizungsseite verteilt, bereitet und verteilt.
zum Beispiel für die Lüftungsanlage, für die Erdgeschosse, für die Sauna, für die Zimmer und auch die Treppenhäuser.
The most important component in the heating room is the blue pipe. It distributes energy to the key facilities on each floor. Meanwhile, in the cooling room, the water supply pipe that is connected to the ground below is important.
Und hier bekommen wir die Energie direkt aus einem Brunnen, der 50 Meter tief.
The water from the groundwater storage tank is used to provide air conditioning in summer and heating in winter. This way, energy can be distributed without the need for separate heating or cooling. This is the head office and factory of the company that supplied the heating and cooling system for the Hans Hotel. Piles of heating and cooling materials can be seen around the factory. They will be shipped out the next day. Their products are currently being sold across Europe, catering to various types of buildings, ranging from small homes to massive commercial buildings. Having started out as a family business in Westphalia in 1973, the company grew into a global player with some 600 employees and 75 establishments around the world, a feat achieved in 45 years. European countries are now showing keen interest in underfloor heating, like the Ondol system. This surely proves that Ondol is an economical, scientific, and eco-friendly heating system that meets today's needs.
Also normale Fußbodenheizung für Einfamilienhäuser gibt es bei A-Quartieren natürlich, machen wir nach wie vor, aber das ist natürlich nur eine Sparte, ja, eine Nische, würde ich sagen, heute, weil es so viele andere Anwendungsbereiche gibt, in denen wir tätig sind, wie zum Beispiel Rasenheizung. Ja, das ist eine Heizung für ein Sportstadion zum Beispiel, wo gefordert wird, dass dieser Platz im Winter eisfrei gehalten wird, um ständige Bespielbarkeit zu gewährleisten. Ja, und das wird mit unseren Ohren gemacht, zum Beispiel auf Schalke, ja, oder andere Vereine in Real Madrid in Spanien. Ja.
The home stadium of Real Madrid in Spain is currently installing heating and cooling systems on the roof and the ground. The project is slated to be completed in 2020. Similarly, underfloor heating was chosen for a football stadium in Minnesota, US, as a way to better manage its grass. Large hospitals where heating and cooling as well as hygiene is critical are also showing preference to underfloor heating. An airplane hangar, the Fondation Louis Vuitton, and the Copenhagen Opera House in Denmark are all examples of establishments where underfloor heating systems were recently installed.
현재 북유럽 쪽, 그러니까 독일이나 스위스, 덴마크 쪽에는 굉장히 바닥 난방이 많이 전파되어 있고요. 특히 덴마크 같은 경우에는 우리가 잘 알고 있는 그 오페라 하우스 전체가 바닥 난방을 적용을 했습니다. 그리고 덴마크의 신축 건물의 50% 정도는 현재 전부 바닥 난방을 적용을 하고 있습니다. 그뿐 아니라 호주에서는 이 바닥 난방을 최우선 정책으로 이제 채택을 해서요. 바닥 난방을 널리 이제 보급을 하고 있는 그런 상태라고 말씀드릴 수 있습니다.
The global market for radiant heating and cooling systems, worth $46.5 billion in 2014, has been showing an annual growth rate of 8.7% and is expected to reach $16.4 trillion by 2020. What will happen if the Ondol heating system, considered clean green energy, meets solar power? The result could be a perfect zero-energy building. A solar Ondol heater has been installed at this facility, which has been pilot run by a heating system supplier since 2014. Water is heated by solar power instead of electricity. The electricity needed in everyday life is generated with the use of solar cells. It's basically a zero-energy house where one can lead a comfortable life without any additional energy.
우리가 생활에서 쓰는 온수하고 난방에 쓸 수 있는 태양 열 시스템이 이제 온돌하고 함께 일체화되어져 있는 기술이 들어와져 있습니다. 바닥 난방으로 보면은 물의 순환을 한 줄로 순환하는 게 아니라 효율을 극대화하기 위해서 두 줄, 네 줄로 순환해서 빠르게 난방할 수 있게끔 설계가 되어 있습니다.
A group of people who are interested in renewable energy has come to see the Zero Energy House. The visitors appreciate the warmth that greets them as soon as they step inside. They're from the Embassy of the Republic of Kenya, led by Deputy Head of Mission Gatoga Chege. He wants to see energy-generating facilities that run on solar and photovoltaic power in his own country, so that they can store the massive volume of solar energy that is readily available in deserts and plains.
Same panel, like that one over there.
솔라 저기 태양열에도 이거 똑같은 팬을 쓰는 건가요?
이제 이 패널을 똑같이 쓰는 건 아니고, 이제 그렇게 열을 흡수할 수 있게끔 설계를 해야지.
They visit an office nearby to continue their discussion on introducing solar power facilities and Ondol heating systems in their country.
저번에 봤던 거 여기 조그마한 4개야.
The deputy head of mission suggests that they first try installing a hot water Ondol heating system at his home back in Kenya.
One of the key issues that my country is struggling to achieve is the issue of energy. And we are geared to achieving self-sufficiency in energy, but we would like to focus on green energy. And that is why I got an interest in this company, because they are manufacturing solar energy solutions for water heating.
Ondol does much more than just heat the floor. It can also store heat and sustain it for an extended period of time. The deputy head of mission pays a visit to Gyeonggi Daejin Technopark to discuss other ways to collaborate.
케냐 쪽에서도 한국에서 하고 있는 ODA 사업이라고 그런 쪽에 혹시
Cheap and eco-friendly energy, a heating system with high energy efficiency. At this very moment, the Ondol system is expanding its reach, making its way into the warmer parts of the globe.
Good, thank you very much.
Faced with a sharp increase in CO2 emissions due to the use of fossil fuels and extreme weather conditions caused by global warming, the world needs a new form of energy that is eco-friendly, highly efficient, and cheap. Perhaps it's destiny that Ondol and underfloor heating systems in general are receiving the global spotlight. The energy that people acquire while living in a pleasant and comfortable environment is what really changes the world. Ondol Heating, together with other forms of eco-friendly energy, is offering humanity the world's most efficient energy.
우리의 온돌 산업이 세계 시장으로 펼쳐나갈 수 있는 잠재력이 가장 큰 나라입니다. 온도를 책임지고 보급하고 발전시키고 현재 우리가 가지고 있는 모든 지식을 종합해서 누구에게나 보여줄 수 있는 이러한 것을 할 수 있는 산업 그리고 그것을 담당할 수 있는 회사가 생길 수 있는 기반을 만들어준다면 우리나라의 산업은 전 세계 시장을 향해서 높은 수준으로 빨리 퍼져나갈 수 있을 거라고 생각이 됩니다.
The wisdom of our ancestors that helped them control fire and heat hints at the new potentials of Korea's Ondol. Think about the strength of Korean-style heating. Think about its hidden potential as a scientific and eco-friendly source of energy. Ondol is the incubator of the most intense and healthiest form of energy. Originating from Korea, Ondol will send a new Korean wave across the globe.